Hello. It's me. Just sitting here thinking about you, dear viewer, and how you can be cool or okay, that sounded I lost it. Hello. Welcome to Midwinter's Keening. I am North Shore DM. This is the Superior Adventurers Guild Twitch channel. Welcome. Happy Thursday. If you're watching and not watching Critical Role, I mean, let's be honest, what are you doing? But if you are realistically watching and not watching Critical Role, thank you. I appreciate you. If you're watching this in the future, awesome. Welcome. Hopefully you will find this as entertaining as I do, you know. Welcome back to Svilland. We were away for a week, which was nice, and it's good to be back. I'm excited to jump back into the things that we do here, seeing how long they'll stay alive. Because I'm a mean old man. Anyway, let's meet my friends.
Hello.
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 Hey, what's up? All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Andy. I'm playing Stieg Egilson, a second level Runewalker wizard. And yeah, excited to get back into it.
Cool. I am Ashley, and I'm playing Astrid Bouldersdotter. I am a third level cleric of Balder, newly minted, so I've got some new things that I'll see if I can do. Excited to get going.
Indeed. Hello, I'm Dave. I am playing Vidar Gormson tonight, a ranger under the thrall of Gorm's Rangers. And he's had some pretty transformative experiences over the last couple sessions, and looking forward to kind of seeing this young boy kind of become a man and see what happens to him along the way. How corrupted Chad can make him along the way. We shall see.
Sorry, I had to let all of the double entendres from that previous introduction just kind of work their way out of my system. Where am I and what's going on? It's cold outside. It appears to be full of terrifying things of the ancient Norse mythology and lore. That would mean I'm in Svilland, which means I'm playing Gunther Tryggvason. No relation to Olaf Tryggvason. He's neither a saint nor a king of Norway yet. He is an ally of Thor, and if I remember correctly, last we left him, he was sitting in a nice chair by a warm fire drinking a flagon of ale. What more could you ask for?
What more indeed?
And I am Amanda. I am playing Paya, the Unforgettable. She's the midwife of the group. Also, usually that's done because she's a bard. She's level 3. And she knows that she's going to be staying around a little bit and birthing a baby in the next week.
Yes. Fantastic. We are blessed. We have been generously, I don't know. We've got a sponsor that I would like to tell you about because he's cool like that.
Hey, we are super honored and thrilled and excited to have Dream Realm Storytellers back again as our campaign sponsor. They are awesome, creating all kinds of amazing content for this crazy world that we're playing in Svilland. Let's see here. If you haven't already, you got to head over to their website. I've got some copy here that I'm supposed to read. DreamRealmStoryteller.com. Also, right below Ashley, and Ashley will point it out to you, there is a URL that you can use to access their entire drive-through RPG catalog, just to take a take a look-see at all the amazing stuff that they've developed, including what I think is really cool. As part of their Kickstarter, they had a composer, a man by the name of Ivan Duke. I think that's how you say his last name. But the Duke, as we call him, created the soundtrack for the Svilland campaign setting. And guess what? On tonight's giveaway, because of our awesome sponsors, we're going to be giving one away, a copy of the soundtrack, which you'll hear a little bit of tonight while we play. That intro music that you heard earlier is from that soundtrack, and there's a lot of other great tracks. So all you have to do to enter, and Andy's going to show you how to do it in the chat here, you just type in the code word DRS, and that will enter you into the giveaway. We're going to draw one lucky winner at the end of the stream tonight. And yeah, it could be you. Good luck.
Good luck.
And Pete Lutenberger's here, everybody.
All right, welcome, Pete.
Awesome.
It's nice to see you. Evidently, I'm out of advantages. So.
No, because Pete just cheered an advantage for all of us.
Yes.
Oh, thanks, Pete.
Man, that man.
I guess I should clarify the party. Thank you, Pete. Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, what he said is Apperty, so I think that's just me. I think I'm Apperty.
Party.
You
How
have
many
never been
names do
called
you
that
have?
in your life, sir.
Yeah. North Shore
Well-
DM, Chad, Real CMG, Apperty.
Yeah, you know, I've like, you know how it was at the end of the '90s. Like we had a new little website coming out every other month. You had a different
Oh, no.
username half the time.
He just gave you 5 advantages, Apperty.
Yes.
Peter.
So line up 5 D20s
yeah.
in front of me.
So welcome
Is
to our
that-
new stream. It's
yes.
called the Pete Lutenberger Advantage Show.
Say that, we
You know what? I'm not gonna
royalties
lie, I
if
will
we say
watch
that.
I love it. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
We have a chat here in Twitch. If you're watching on Twitch, hopefully, we have a chat. You can talk to people. Pete, he'll talk to you. Maybe he's always watching, not always chatting, unless he's cheersing, which
Sometimes
I'm
he's
appreciative
lurking.
of. Sometimes he's lurking.
We love you, Pete.
Yeah. Let's let me give you a little recap. So of course, if you are up to date on what we're doing, you will remember that last week was a little rough. Not necessarily on the party, just on everybody and their psyche because of some weird, Twitch upload stuff. It was all funky. And I hear that the upload that made it onto YouTube on our YouTube channel is a better, more complete version of what we really did. So you can check us out on our YouTube channel to get caught up that way. But if you don't want to do that, I'm going to tell you kind of what happened, sort of in a brief sort of way. So, of course, the party was still out in the middle of that bog, in that tower where they had fought a bunch of outlaws and Draugr, who were from the bog Draugr. And they had kind of gathered themselves. They had a strange visitor, which was like a couple episodes ago. So, go back into our catalog for that. And then they returned with the 2 previously captives, the youths that they rescued from these outlaws. They returned to Ulf's homestead, where, of course, this whole sort of adventure began. They fed the animals. They made some chit-chat amongst themselves. There was, I'm sure, something important that was said to somebody. It was probably no. Michael shaking his head no. So probably nothing happened of any value. That's not. It was great. Oh, because there was something that was very important that happened. I'm very slowly reading through my list. Astrid, of course, of course, Astrid specifically in this case had a dream sequence of maybe some would say a disturbing dream of her dream self. She was in a village that was burning. There were um, people ravaging other people with pointy objects, slaying them. There was a shining figure who was helping people, and like her mom died, and she was like, "Oh, help me, yes!" And then he was coming towards her, but then he was, of course, slain um, by a feller with an arrow, who then morphed into like a death's head, and it was a whole thing, and terror and sadness reigned, and darkness. And then she leveled up, because that's the weird duality of Balder. That's the sort of things that you get when you jump off the deep end of that pool. It's a little of this, a little of that. And then they continued on. They returned to Mulgore, the last town, and they brought the kids back to Storytellers Inn, which is kind of their unofficial home base. Specifically, it is where a small number of the party do, in fact, live. And they kind of touched base and found out a little bit what was happening around town, that a bunch of the families and folk who live kind of in farmsteads and kind of out in the countryside had been coming back since they were like, oh yeah, these Draugr and outlaws like kidnapping folks and doing bad stuff. So everyone come in until we can figure this shit out, which it's working. It's great. Gunder went to see the Jarl, and was it just Gunder? Gunder, did you do that by yourself? Yeah, you did it by yourself. I can tell by your head shaking. Thank you. Gunder went and saw the Jarl. There was one of those like, oh yeah, reveals that happened where Gunder was like, yeah, this thing happened. We saw this guy, and the Jarl was like, fuck, that reminds me of something I remember from a long time ago. Because that's a real thing that people do. They don't remember everything until it really matters, or until they, come up with it. Because that's what you do. It's D&D, right? It's called, what's that E word?
Exposition.
No. And anyway, it starts with an E. It's something about storytelling that happens at the table.
Emergent.
Emergent. Thank you. I'm wonderful at this. And how this guy had been a seeder, and he had been cast out. He had been made a nithing, an outlaw, because of course he was doing some sacrifices to like hell and stuff, and they happen to be people, and maybe people that somebody liked. So the people didn't like it, and so they cast his ass out. Probably thought he died. Here he is, maybe alive. We'll see. We don't know what's going on yet. We haven't got that far. And then Vidar went to check in with Gorm up at the lodge, up at the Hall of the Rangers. Gorm was out. He chit-chatted with the big guy whose name is something. Roar. Yes, Roar. And talked about things. Stieg and Astrid went to see Saemond, Stieg's mentor, the kind of head rune guy around town, and they're like, "Hey, we got this goat head, and hey, these are the things that happened to us." And he was like, "Oh yeah, this goat head like holds power, and the runes like help. It's like a bucket of power, I think is how I described it. Maybe in different
Okay.
words. A foci. Yes, thank you. And you had also asked him about this guy that you had seen, and I think he had said something as well, pretty much the same thing that Gunder learned. Perhaps that guy's name was Mavness. Yeah, he was exiled for sacrificing women to gain power. And yeah, and I want to verbally, socially, publicly thank Ashley for compiling this wonderful bullet pointed list that I can absolutely butcher as I remember. I'm very bad at notes. I really am bad at notes in some ways. But this helps me a lot because I'm good at remembering some things sometimes. Anyway, let us please, for the love of the gods, stop my rambling and get us back to the game. As Pete Ludenberger has shown you, perhaps if you're watching this live, you can cheers 100 bits to somebody you like or don't like. If you want to cheers me, if you don't like somebody on the other side of me and you want to just cheers me, 100 bits will give that person an advantage. It's fun. It makes things interesting. It helps us because it helps us acquire things that we can do here on the channel, which, you know, is cool. I like to do things. Anyway, let's
You do?
let's play this goddamn game. I promised that we would start. That wasn't really a promise. I said that we could still be at Samon's hut. Astrid and Stieg, you had some things perhaps that you wanted to continue to ask about. Please, you're in his hut. If you'll remember, it's like a weird, cluttery place. There's a lot of carving materials, magic reagents, smelly things, old laundry, you know, like herbs and incenses and a fucking goat head, probably some chickens, rocks, some bread, churches.
Sweet.
Not that last part.
They're really little.
Very, very, very small churches. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we ended by talking about why the kids were being targeted. So I don't know if there was anything after that. I don't know.
Do you
That's
remember
where I think we ended too.
we were talking about why kids might be being targeted now?
Right.
I don't remember.
This guy was like he was thrown out of the community for sacrificing women, and now suddenly we've foiled 3 kidnappings of young people, and perhaps this was related to that individual trying to gain power again.
He says, kind of in response to this, much like he says, much like you know, the cycle of gifting here in town in the kind of accepted way, we sacrifice cows, goats, horses, you know, animals, right? Things that we have put our collective energy into to maintain the gift cycle with the gods. There is perhaps generally a less socially accepted consideration that there is also power in the blood of the folk. And some will tell you that there is power in the blood of those on who haven't had sex yet, virgins, they would say. um, in it's not my direct purview. It is said that in the cult of hell, that these sort of actions are taken to gain power, to bind with that dread goddess. I guess it's not necessarily out of the realm of possibility that this could still be Mavness, but he would be a ancient fellow now.
Well, we have been running into a lot of Draugr, and they are dead, so perhaps he is not exactly living?
Hmm.
I don't believe I've shown Saman the necklace yet. So I'd like to do that now.
Oh, okay. For those of you who do not remember, this is a necklace that has, I hope I remember right. It's like a gold piece, and then there's like a raised stone carved in the shape of a wolf's head, but it's cracked. Of a stylistically of a perhaps an older style. It's like what your great grandma would have worn. Maybe that was a joke. I'm sorry, it wasn't funny. You show this to him, and I would like to make a roll for him. I will make it, and I rolled a 6, which I will add to a number in my head. I don't have like a character sheet for him. I'm just making numbers up. That's fine. And he says, Where did you find this?"
Well, the man that cast the ritual with that goat head was wearing it.
I've seen these before. Not common. The kind of style is a kind of a through thread. I don't know much about them, but I've seen sometimes different animal heads: wolf, a hawk, a raven, a stag. Sometimes. Usually broken, like this one. Interesting. I don't really know much about them. I'm not much I can offer there. But they are rare, I'll tell you that. I don't see them often. I don't know. Take that as you will, being up here in the north.
I have something to ask about unless you have a follow-up question to that.
No, I'm good.
All right. So last time we were here, you gave us a prophecy, perhaps. I don't know if you remember us being here or if you remember what you said, but I was wondering if you could give us any clarification on it.
gonna make another roll here. Oh, I rolled a natural 20. Ah, wow.
Oh,
I guess I gotta do
nice.
something. I gotta do something good now.
You want me to read it back to you?
No, I have it here because that is a good part of the notes I did write.
Good.
He says, yes, I remember. I remember pieces of it. Generally, prophecies, those sorts of rune readings are. Shit. What's it called? Michael, what's it called when you're like taken over by like the spirit?
Like there's ridden is a popular
No,
nomenclature.
I mean, yeah, but
Possession?
not possessed. No, like
Trance warp.
yeah. Damn it! There's a word I'm trying to think of, but you're ballpark. You're ballpark. So that helps. He said some word. I don't remember what it is. There's a word specifically about Odin about it too, which of course works here, but I don't remember. Anyway, he says, yeah, in such instances, normally, it's as if it's not me speaking. It is the Rune Father speaking through me. Sometimes I remember some things. This was a very powerful reading. I can say that because I remember some things. Thanks to my roll in a natural 20. And he says, let's do it this way. What would you like some clarification on? Is there a specific piece? I will say that you won't get like a complete clarification on everything. But if you like say, let's pick a part, what would that part be? And I might, we'll get a little something.
Man, well, I've got two things that I'm questioning. I want to know who the warrior of depth is, and I also wanted to know what is the light. Is the light an object or an item, or the light of the dead god can save us? Is the light an object or a weapon or something? So if he would know either of those things would be good.
He thinks. He kind of gets distant a little bit. And he says, there was a man, Thrieg. Yeah. Oh, there. Yeah. Who was working with Mavness. He was not a good dude. He was an outlander from beyond. Some say from Allsvarder. Some say from unknown places in the north. Bloodthirsty, vicious. He was executed, whereas Mavness was made nothing. He was it's politics is really a lot of what it is. But I can see his face still. Well, via this prophecy, as you say, this vision, this reading, his spirit is bound somewhere. Perhaps these this work that is happening in the north, in the wastes, is to grow his power, to release him from his bonds. Perhaps could be some machinations at work, but it would be bad. It would be. It would not be good. This light.
Oh, go ahead. Keep it coming.
Oh no, I'm not 100% prepared for that part. The light, the power of Balder is, of course, as you know, he was a beacon of goodness, and his I don't know, his was a rallying point for folks once. In some ways, perhaps still is. I can't say what form the light here will take, but perhaps you are at the center of this. Perhaps there's something else yet to be found.
Okay.
Hiya!
Good. Sounds good. I wanted to ask, so the man working with Mavness, Trig, I believe you said, does anyone know more about this person? Like, would there be anyone we could talk to gain additional information, or a place we could read something? I mean, I could read.
You could speak with Hertha.
Hertha.
Leavesdotter, the law speaker. It's quite possible she might know more, or even have some record somewhere, passed down from law speaker to law speaker. I guess that's who I would ask.
Thank you. We will do that eventually, I think. I have a lot to think about.
And you, Stig, anything on your mind?
I don't know. I'm really tired. We've been traveling for quite a while. I think that covers everything we had to ask you about.
Unless you wanted to do anything with those swords. Were they for here?
Well, I mean, I've been meaning to sell these so that the party can make some money off of our journey. We could go do that.
Money.
We could also do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're right.
don't-
We've been traveling for like a goodly 6-7 hours, and
And that's just today.
that's just today.
Awesome. So you will retire someplace?
I am going to head back to the Storyteller Inn, and Stieg is welcome to join us.
Stieg is gonna stay at Simon's. He has a room there.
All right. Then she will head back by herself.
So I can't remember. Did we say after a certain time we were gonna meet up again or something? Do you remember? I thought
We didn't agree on it, but we all kind of
Oh.
assumed we would meet back at the Storyteller Inn.
okay.
It could also be tomorrow morning. You know,
Sounds good.
want to sleep in your own bed.
Yeah. I have some studying to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll head back by myself.
Vidar, you were waiting at Gorm's, just hanging out, if I
Yes.
remember correctly.
That is right.
And Roar is there. And you know, over time, a few hours, a number of other of the rangers return. Some have families in tow, and then they kind of stop in and then head into town, and maybe more towards evening, because I don't remember exactly what time it is. I think it was like around midday when you get returned, I think. Gorm returns to the lodge. And he comes in and, takes stock of his haul, and he sees you where you're at, wherever that is.
Probably be hanging about the hall.
And he says, Vidar, you've returned. What news?
We have returned from a battle at the watchtower against many bandits and more of the undead that have risen. Bror has told me stories of the one named Mavness, who I believe I saw at the edge of the wood.
I'm going to roll for him.
And Vidar will generally just kind of recount, the adventure that they had.
Yeah, strangely enough, Gorm isn't privy to that story. But he nods, as you kind of recount what went on, and
Vidar will focus quite a bit on sort of like the saving of the hostages that were taken and the returning them to town, that sort of thing, sort of the rescue mission aspect of it.
He says, "Well, these are strange tidings indeed, but it's good. You did good."
And what of your trek? You made it to the outer homesteads. Was there trouble? Has it spread?
A bit. I encountered a a party of outlaws out near out near out beyond Grain's homestead. But they were tired, ill-equipped.
Hmm.
No match for my skis and arrows.
Of course.
Horsebow my ass, ski bow.
You return with all of your men. This is good. I fear that they will be needed more in the days to come.
Yes, every victory is one less enemy, but perhaps one more enemy angered to more violence. But we've got people hopefully in safer places, and we'll be able to maybe make some more decisive action against these outlaws. But you've done well, my friend. He claps you on the arm.
Aye.
Now,
Thank you, Gorm.
let's have a drink. It's cold outside. And he gets there's always like a steaming pot of mead near the fire, and he gets some glasses, some drinkware, probably not glasses.
Big old
perhaps
mugs.
horn mugs, and oh, and drinks. Give me a perception roll.
Okay.
He's actually a vampire.
Uh-oh.
He has no reflection.
That is a 8.
8. Yeah, you guys are kind of standing there, drinking, and Roar comes over and he like fills him in on a few different things of people that have come in and headed back to town and whatnot, and you like kind of out of the corner of the eye, you kind of catch him like kind of like the, I don't know, like the approval, like eyeball and nod a little bit, like to himself, like, does that make sense?
He's nodding at what now?
Like he like you kind of catch him out of the corner of your eye, like kind of like giving you the like the approval look and
Okay.
nod, like kind of to himself, like, all right, all right. And yeah.
Gorm, I've been here with you for how many winters now? Many. Most of them. And I think of you as a father to me. You have taken me in and given me duties to fulfill. You have given me a way to prove my value to the Rangers and to your family, and for that I appreciate. I am drawn to this party of people that I've spent time with over these past days. In a strange way, I feel as though I can serve them at a time when it is needed. but I would not do so without your guidance in that direction, with your blessing, so to say.
Mm.
What do you intend for me, Gorm? I am not
Wow.
an equal of your family, but I feel as though things have changed. I'm being pulled in a different direction, and I don't know how to go forward.
Give me a persuasion roll, please.
Not usually very good at this. That is going to be an 11.
That's not the way I thought. I was thinking it was gonna go.
No. Well, I have a -1 on my
That's
charisma.
fair enough. He he looks thoughtful as you say these things. At times, distant, perhaps. And he says, if if he were a Scotsman, he would say something like, "Ah, yes, you've been a right bonny lad." But he's not, in fact, a Scotsman. I could thank my wife watching Outlander a lot for that. He says, "Wow, you've been a steady hand indeed. You've proven worth here time and again. You've been a boon to this hall. And while but a thrall, a valued member. I understand the draw, the bonds that you make with those that you have suffered and trialed with, and fought with, as you have with your friends. He kind of looks off a bit and scratches his beard. He says, perhaps with a bit of a smile, like a slight, like a slight turning, like,
Just
like
enough
that,
to make
like,
Vidar sort of nervous.
yeah, like
Yeah.
not like a wolf smile, but like a. He says, yeah, he says, be nearby over the next day or so. We'll see what happens.
Of course.
He says, now, I think I need to hit the hay. Literally, because I sleep on hay. It's been a long ski, and man, are my dogs tired.
Very well.
Literally, they're outside, very sleepy, because I'm a skier. That's right, Michael.
It's all literal.
All literal, all the time. if you don't know what skewering is, my friends out there in the internet land, it's when you ski, like cross-country ski, but you have a group of dogs that help pull you. It's like dog sledding, but without the sled. Or perhaps you're the sled. It's some epic ass shit, that's for sure. Anyway, that's what happens when you're like a high-level ranger. You just like get other people to do locomotion for you. I don't even have to. No, okay, that's it. All right. Yeah, that happens. He says those things. He nods, like, like the guy nod to you and Roar, and he goes and finds his cot and racks out.
Look over at Roar.
He kind of like,
inquisitively.
he kind of gives you a toothy grin.
Your dental hygiene
says,
leaves much to be desired, Roar.
We don't get a lot of sugar up here, so it's pretty great.
Floss once in a while.
What? That's true. That's true, Michael. I guess.
As you
I
sit
don't
there
know.
drinking another mead.
Hey, that's not like he's eating. Okay, it's not like us. He's not like us. Candy every day, just like gobstoppers constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this your diet?
That's how I stay so
all
true.
day
Sugar all
long.
the time. baby.
Gumdrops and gobstoppers.
I love the green gumdrops the best.
Let's let's do this. Does anyone I know we've talked about some downtime stuff. Does anyone do you have the desire to meet back up and have a scene together, meeting heads and stuff this evening?
Gunder had thought we were doing that, so he's going to like finish his ale and go back to the inn.
Okay.
And it sounds like not everybody's going to be there. So,
Well, Stig's like a room caster. He's like he's like the
whole,
bad boy. He's the bad boy of Volkor.
You know, in
the
all
whole
honesty,
day
the
hasn't
three
gone
of
by,
us
has
are-
it?
I mean, it's evening. It's late evening by the time.
Yeah.
Did we say we were going to meet up that same night that we got back into town?
It was very vague, I think.
very vague. Both I and my character thought we would be getting back together. So that's what I'm going with. If
And that's
people
fine.
don't show up, he'll be
Wait.
confused.
Yeah,
I
that's fine.
I live there.
Yeah.
So do
I might have
I,
something for
so-
this.
And Stig, you don't have to go. That's nobody's gonna guilt you. Nobody's
No.
gonna call you names behind your back.
Gunder will. He's going to pretend
Nobody's
to be
gonna,
a
like,
middle-aged suburban
make
mom. It's fine.
make a
Svidar
doll.
going to be
You.
there? No, I technically have some learning to do.
Yeah.
So
So Gunder gets to the inn, sees the ladies, is like, where's everyone else?
It's a
What,
Gunder.
you're saying ladies aren't important? What are you saying?
Well, I'm saying you're in the right place already.
Wow. Oh man.
Man.
Here lies Gunder,
Uh-huh.
thrashed to death by two wonderful women who
Mhm.
don't take no shit from no man.
Paya, Paya has no idea where Vidar is, but she's still wondering if she needs to cut a bitch just to let that poor boy free, or maybe figure out how to come up with the money to just buy him out.
Aw.
I mean,
That's
I've
gonna
been
be
there.
that's a lot of like broken knives and axes and stuff.
If Paya brings that up,
Steve's gonna have to get a collection plate of old weapons.
I
I mean,
if that's brought up, Gunder will straight up be, I will give gold for this.
I don't know.
Eagle burn it all down.
No, we like the Rangers. We need them.
Yeah, so the three.
You know,
yeah,
I
the-
don't
gonna do that.
trust them at all.
Why not?
I mean, They own people.
Or yeah.
They steal
you're not there.
people. They own people. He could have adopted a child if he wanted a child, but no, he bought one. And he owns
Not really.
one.
Do you know that he
Yeah.
bought them?
No, you
How
don't.
else do you have how else do you own a person?
You can take them into your household without making purchase, but declare them a thrall. Now, that having been said, your argument that perhaps he should have adopted them, this is true. I am merely saying the institution is not used the same here as it is other places in the kingdoms that I have seen. So I would not rush to judge them. I do not mean you are wrong. I would merely say perhaps learn more before passing such judgment.
Am I
Well.
there? Did I make it back to the inn or no?
You're
Yep.
there because
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
take
the
him over
three
to
of you, the three of
Okay,
you are
okay.
there. Vidar
I
is
was heading that
not
way.
there. Stieg said he's not there.
All right. I don't know. I have to say that I am very grateful that no one decided to make me a thrall when I showed up a few years ago.
such a thing would have taken a great deal of work. It is not a simple thing to declare a person a thrall.
It's not. It takes a lot to be broken into that condition, or you are very, very young.
I was merely speaking about the legalistic terms. Like
I'm talking about the humanistic terms. Having
I
been
understand.
broken into such a condition.
I understand. I am also understanding that nothing I say is going to be positive on this matter, so I will not speak on it. I will instead fill my mouth with ale, for which is a healthier alternative.
Why not get stabbed?
And if no one else is going to show up, Gunder's probably going to literally close the place down in a quiet corner drinking, and then end up wandering back off to his farm.
Oh. You guys don't share any of your knowledge with each other?
So I found out that the moon and the sun are actually people riding chariots across the sky.
Everyone knows that. That's
Oh.
true.
Well, then I also found out that the Seether that Vitter found appears to actually have been someone who was declared knighting an outlaw a generation ago, and no one just spoke of it much.
I actually found out why he was kicked out. He apparently sacrificed some human women to hell. And since he was around other people that they were kidnapping, it might be that he is looking for more.
I'm shocked he's still alive.
Is he?
Well,
Oh, I love this. I love this
he
so
was
much.
declared outlaw instead of killed. Allow me to be clearer there. Your point is very valid.
Let's see, anything else? Oh, the prophecy. I asked about the prophecy. And they mentioned that Mavness had a friend, Trig, who
Yes. Was killed.
might be someone that they're trying to release from his bonds, as in bring him back, and that would be very, very bad.
Especially if he had a religious artifact, yes.
Oh, I don't know about that. But did you hear he had a religious artifact?
I know you're missing a sword.
Oh. Well, yes, when he is brought back, if he is given such a thing, that would be bad. I was
Right.
also told to talk to Hertha. She might have more information.
She knew of this, yes, but she said little more than what you have already said. But I
Wait,
did
did
not
you talk
question
to
her to
her?
look into her books. She was involved in the conversation.
Damn it! Oh, I'm a bad DM. Really?
But
I think she was just silently watching and didn't say anything.
she was more doing the "I can't believe it's that asshole" bit, which after she's had a chance to recover and possibly ask very pointed questions, she could recall more. So I would definitely say we should speak to her, most likely on the morrow or sometime soon. And he suddenly looks around for a second and goes, I'm not sure if we're doing anything officially at this point or if we are just doing this because it bothers us.
Oh, that we have some kind of permission from someone to continue looking into this?
That is more of me pausing and going, we may ruffle feathers if we continue to push. I am okay with this, but I want to make sure it was said out loud what may happen. If you do not care, then let us proceed forward with candor.
Well,
I'm not planning on stopping, for the record.
So I am fairly sure that part of this prophecy involves me in some way. And so I think it would be very bad to not continue looking into it. Lest it just happens for me.
It strikes me that prophecy is the sort of thing that happens whether one likes it or not, and often one does not realize it till afterwards. Let us proceed forward then. That is all the pause I needed. Unless Paya has more of a pause. I understand that Paya is one that is deeply concerned about cultural norms in this town. I did that with a straight face.
That's
You-
impressive. I'm impressed.
Impressive. Now, if Astrid is going to be being pulled into this by her deity, I see no reason why I will not be there to offer some support. Although I do have babies that I must be aware of, and if I'm going to be following you for a while, I must make sure that I spend a bit more time with my intern?
Do you have an apprentice?
Wait, you have an intern?
I probably have an apprentice because I mean I've been leaving town and I had 2 women pregnant, so
That's fair. That's fair.
you know I'm assuming that there's someone that I've been training.
What's
She
your
may not
intern's
be.
What's your intern's name?
Oh, I'm gonna come up with a name for her.
Yeah. Emergent
Uh,
storytelling. Remember?
Emergent storytelling. I don't have that name thing.
Yeah, where is that like NorseNameCreator.com? You know?
Oh wait,
There
didn't I
is
come
one.
up with names that like you were like, no, that's not their names because you had other names, and I'm like, oh, that would totally be the right name,
There was something like that.
and I might just try to.
Otherwise, I have a whole PDF in front of me
Oh yeah,
that I
Give
keep
me a
open. But I thought
name.
I would give it to you. Here, let's do this. Let's D&D the shit out of this. Please roll me a percentile dice.
Ooh.
So I think if you double click.
10.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait. Oh, double click.
Yeah.
There we go.
So if you
26.
double click on it, it'll roll. That's a new update to Runehammer
Ooh.
VTT. So 26. 26.
Ooh.
Gerda.
Gerda.
Now, that is
Gerda.
a midwife's name if I've ever heard one.
I know, right?
It does.
I'm about to have a kid just thinking about it. That didn't come out right. I apologize. That didn't come out right. But I mean, you know what I mean. It's a good midwife name.
Yeah.
Wow. That
But
was,
Gerda is also very young.
yeah.
So I mean, she's Astrid and Haldora's age or thereabouts. And she is more traditional, without quite the same enthusiasm and powers that I may have, but quite capable.
Hmm.
But young.
Yeah, she doesn't have
So-
the varied life experiences that you have.
It's boring.
Yeah.
She's boring. She's like a normal girl.
Yeah, she's very normal.
I mean,
Um,
I've tried to teach her jaw harp. She just has no musical talent whatsoever.
she
She
just
just
wants to
barely
play.
keeps drums.
Helping.
She just wants to play the drums. Yeah, she's like, the drums.
She's not even all that good with them, though. I mean, it's kind
no.
of sad. Alas, but
At some point during your evening, as you three are conversing and or drinking or eating and or a combination of those things, a young woman comes into the inn. She has a look you recognize, similar to your friend Vider's. And she kind of looks around the inn and spots the three of you, in cahoots wherever it is that you
The
are.
miss, I feel.
Yeah, in the inn, and comes over, and she says, you are Astrid and Gunder and Paya, yes?
yes.
You're
Yes.
friends of Vider's.
Yes.
She says, my name is Rackle. I'm one of Gorm's rangers. Perhaps if you could join us at the hall tomorrow evening. Tomorrow afternoon, really. Tomorrow after. For main
Before or
meal
after
tomorrow. For
sundown?
main meal tomorrow, before sundown.
Mm.
There will be a feast. Saman, Stieg must be at Saman's at his mentors. I take it.
That is where I
Oh.
left him.
I will go there. Thank you. And she leaves. All right, let's go to Stieg. Stieg, my friend,
Yes,
what are you doing?
I am
What are you doing?
dutifully studying,
He's at the club.
just
Techno.
poring over
Just glowing runes.
runes that
Spinning around.
sipping some spirits while I'm studying my spell book and
Yeah.
working on carving up a few new things, trying not to screw up too much, having to start over a couple times.
Give me an Arcana roll.
All right.
Are you drunk?
No,
Okay,
Just-
give me an Arcana roll.
I wouldn't say I'm drunk.
Just buzzed.
Arcana. Okay.
Are you drinking the moonshine or like the normal stuff?
Oh Jesus. 6 plus
Okay.
that'd be a
Looks like
6
it was the moonshine.
It caught up with him real
11.
quick.
11?
plus 5 for 11.
Plus 5,
Yeah.
11, okay. Yeah, you're carving some stuff. It's good. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad.
Yeah. Level 3.
Strangely enough, you just continually carve the word for dick. It's just dick.
Come, whittle dicks.
Yeah, what so level 3 for you, it's just new spells, is that correct?
Yeah, I get 2 new spells.
Yeah.
And I'm taking that level 3 thing from Tasha's.
The
Um,
cantrip mumbo
yeah,
jumbo.
it's called cantrip formulas. It's like you
Mhm.
can essentially change out a cantrip once per long rest from the wizard list.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I really, yeah, yeah. I don't like that it's an ability. I wish they would have just said, add this paragraph to the spells paragraph in your class. But I guess that makes sense to add it as an ability. So that's good. Yeah. Are you switching out any cantrips? Being as you now have this ability, or what is your intent?
I will be switching out a cantrip, and then I'm taking 2 spells. I'm taking Misty Step and Chromatic Orb.
Mm-hmm.
One of which is level 2, but the Chromatic Orb is level 1.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's discuss. Let's talk about. Let us have you paint us a word picture, to use the words of Tycho Brahe. What does your research and eureka moment for Misty Step look like?
Well, the components are only verbal, so
Yep.
I'm just gonna say that after like a long night of studying, I stumble across it, the spell in Seaman's Things, and I start committing it to memory. I don't know what else to do.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't
Oh,
have
it's only verbal.
specifically
What do you have
anything.
to say?
Yeah. What's the
You guys are
What's your
putting me on the
magic-
spot. I
what's
did
your
not
magic
think
word?
of anything for that. I don't
Is
know.
it just screaming run? I don't know.
It's-
Get me out of here!
fly, you fool?
Escape!
Every time.
Psych. No, I don't know.
Oh, I like it. I think that would be expeditious retreat.
Yeah, that's true. That would be TBD.
Sure. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. Give me a quick second here.
I'll eat my dust.
Yes. Here we go. So for the viewer, if you've been watching, one of the cool things about Svilland is this new class called Rune Walker. They're essentially a wizard. They're kind of a wizard flavored around runes, and they have some abilities to use runes and do rune things. And some people will, of course, continually complain about, oh, there's not enough rune things for them, but the ultimate answer is that their expression of spells from like the player's handbook or whatever resource that you get your spells from is via combinations of runes and applications of rune staves and things like that, because there's a lot and you can't smash everything into one thing. So in this case, Misty Step must be a combination of some runes that we know of because we know what the runes are. So if you will allow me to perhaps spread some flavor to you, my friend Andy, you're
Sprinkle that stuff on.
I'm just like chef salt.
Great.
You're I don't know, you're hanging out, you're doing your thing, right? You're kind of studying, you're reading your various rune sticks. You have a few collections of perhaps these scrolls, even a rare book, perhaps. And you are kind of going. You have Saman specifically has just a odd collection of stuff. What would you say you know about Saman? Like, how well do you know Saman's, say, backstory? Do you think to him, or rather to you, he's how much how much of an enigma is he? Is he open with you about, hey, I did this when I was younger or your age, or is he still like, you're my rune student, we're doing rune things, the rest of this is mine, fuck off? Okay, that was a bit extreme, but you know what I mean.
No, I would say that we're pretty close. Like I probably know a good deal about him.
Okay.
He probably withholds some of the darker stuff. I would imagine
he has a dark side.
Not him himself, but like maybe some things that he's
Necromancy.
adventures that he's gotten into that have been, pretty nasty, I guess you could say. Not that he committed those things, but that he was involved in trying to prevent things like that.
Sure.
So he might hide like some of the more negative
Dangerous
aspects of that. Yeah.
Sure. And some stuff it's good to keep as your own, right?
Right. Yeah. And so he'll tell me some things, and then it just seems like he's kind of this font of stories. Like,
sure.
He's got a lot of experience. I don't know if he's not the most powerful wizard in the world, but he's
no, he can't be.
Yeah.
He could be, but like, yeah. I don't want him to be.
Right. And
okay, I do want him to be.
And if he was, he wouldn't be living in a tiny little house in Mulgore. You know what I mean?
Or maybe he would, though. Maybe that makes sense. Maybe that actually makes the most sense.
So I get the feeling that despite knowing him for so many years, he's kind of like, he trickles things out. He doesn't unload on me all
maybe a little bit Daniel-san and Miyagi.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, Daniel-san kind of knows some stuff about Miyagi, and it's been long enough since I've seen any movie other than the first one that I never remember anything about those movies other than the drum thing.
Yeah. A little bit, not so much formal. Yeah, there's a little bit of formal teacher in there, but like we let loose every now and then too. So it's like, with the moonshine. Yeah. How formal did the Vikings get? I don't know.
Right.
Depends on the day and what's going on.
That's true. It depends on the year, maybe, perhaps. Yeah. Anyway, that's a different story. That's a whole separate podcast we could do. Yeah, so I think so he has a lot of stuff. He is some of it that he's collected perhaps from time that he has spent away from town. That he is like a lot of the people who live here. He's from here. He's left like some people in town have and come back. From a certain perspective, a good way to enrich and empower your community is to leave, learn some dope shit, and come back and bring that knowledge back, right? And that was kind of the way that he was when he was younger. So he's got a collection of stuff from like that time away, but he's also been around back in town for quite some time, and so he also has a good deal of stuff that he's gotten via Njal and his general store merchant business, things that trickle up the road, right? And there's been maybe there's been a bit kind of nagging in your mind. You've dealt with a lot of different things recently, rune wise, bindings, borders, sanctuary, these kinds of things. And there's been these pieces that have been kind of bonking around in your brain, and you're, maybe you've probably shared a few, and Siemens kind of he's zonked, and you've been kind of maybe chilling out a bit on the booze, and you're just kind of reading, and this thing won't go away, and you're reading a few of his things, and you see a piece, somebody's some kind of recollection that somebody's talking, like a text about moving from place to place, and freeing yourself from the fetters of Midgard, and kind of traveling the Bifrost to another place, in Midgard, in Svilland, right, in the middle realm, as it were, for those of you who don't know the words that I'm saying. And you see in your mind a stave made up of Odal, the rune of borders, and Wunjo, the rune of binding, and it's kind of constructed in such a way that perhaps suggests an unbinding of borders, and you're like, aha. You then, of course, realize that you are on the edge of a cliff outside of Samon's hut, like looking down at, like, an ice flow and snow down the side of this cliff to the sort of bay area in the kind of like an oxbow bit, as it were, in the river that Mulgore kind of sits on. There's a puff of smoke, and yeah, you level up, man. You're third
All
level.
right.
You
I'm gonna
son
go.
of a- You son of a
I'm just gonna
bitch.
go. Yeah. And I'm gonna shoot off a bunch of firebolts into the air.
Nice.
Some
let me roll.
Someone just invented fireworks.
Nobody sees it, but it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to miss firebolts into the air in the middle of the night, my friend. It's like flares.
That duck in particular.
Somebody probably saw it, and they're like, those drunk rune casters again.
Those damn wizards again.
Very
those damn
probable.
wizards again.
Like Gandalf without the budget.
And there's
Somebody-
a child running around trying to catch that one zapped duck and bring it home for dinner.
right.
Somebody screams
It's
out
already
the
cooked.
window.
This is the best thing ever.
Not a slave. Stop shooting
You
things.
you actually, somebody does see it because Rackle went to find you, so you're kind of like, yeah, and you hear a voice kind of from down the trail a bit, the path that kind of leads out to Samon's, a female voice, and she says, is everything okay?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Yes, everything's fine. Don't be alarmed.
Are you sure? She like half has, like a spear at the ready, like ready to throw it at something or whatever. She says, are you Stieg?
Yes, I am. Have we met before?
No, I am Rackle, one of the Rangers.
Oh, hello.
Perhaps you could join us tomorrow for a feast.
I would
in
like
the
that.
afternoon.
Okay. Should I bring anything?
They tell me you make a moonshine here.
Make a moonshine.
What is it called? What's it called?
Brenovan?
Yeah, Brenovan. Thank you. Yeah.
I could bring some.
She says, yes, that would be good. Now, it's getting late. You obviously have things to light on fire, so I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
She turns and heads off into the evening/night. And you never see her again. Ever.
Nothing
I'm just
like
kidding. That's
celebrating and like acting crazy, and then a girl shows up and just like, what are you doing?
What is happening here?
Did I do that?
Dang it. Thought it looked cool.
What?
Check it out. Let's take a break. I have a calling. I would like to answer it. Please, my friends, if you are still here watching, again, thank you as always. Also, remember, we have a bit of a giveaway. It's for the dope soundtrack by Mr. Dukes. I never remember his first name.
Put up your dukes.
Dukes.
Ivan.
Ivan Dukes. The soundtrack specifically made for Svilland, which came out with the Kickstarter rewards for the Freya's Tears Kickstarter, which happened last year. If you enter DRS into the chat, you will be entered into the giveaway that we will have at the end. Perhaps you will win it, and then you will also be able to listen to some dope tunes that you can engage your home game with, or your stream game, whatever game that you wish to use it for. Within reason, I guess. Music is weird. Music, that's a whole nother podcast. Anyway, let us be back in 10 minutes, at roughly by my clock, 8:40 Central Standard Time, whatever time it is at your house, plus 10. We'll be back. Thanks.
Woo!
All right.
Hell yeah. Now I'm back. Oh yeah. Welcome back. It's the cutscenes. The cutscenes throw me off. I've got an on-air sign, but it doesn't account for the cutscenes. Hello. The 10 of you who are still here, who are not us, thank you for still being here live. We had a break. It was great. I got this lovely beer from Earthrider Brewing, Duluth Pale, Coffee Pale Ale. It's literally it's probably my second favorite beer on the planet.
I'm still drinking my almost
It's like
heaven amber ale from Mountain
like
State Brewing in West
It's like a
Virginia.
nice hug. Nice.
Oh, I thought we were doing beer commercials. We're not doing beer commercials?
I mean, that's not why they're here.
Okay, fair enough.
We could start a different podcast, a different Twitch show called
What are you drinking?
What Are You Drinking? Show me your beer. Let's see. Check it out. Let's do a little fast forward. Unless anybody's got anything specific before this feast thing. Does anyone have
Drinking a
anything
bit
else they
too
want
much,
to do?
stumbling home in the cold. That's it.
Okay.
The only thing I want to do is I want to give Heldora that moss that I found a million years ago now. What was it? Old man's beard? Something like that?
Yes.
So anyway, I mean, that doesn't have to be a big thing, but I'll give it to her.
She says, "Thank you."
We could breeze over the selling of those weapons too.
Oh.
If
Yes.
there's like a blacksmith or an armorer in town that might want to buy them.
Well, there is, in fact. Oh yeah, I don't have the labels put on this, but right. Let me zoom in. Where is it? Oh no, it's right. Shit. Hang on, I'm dumb. Derp, derp. Maps.
Maps.
Why's Paya in the sea?
She is
Swimming with the fishes.
She is reaching her true identity as a terrifying goddess of the deeps.
She's ice fishing. So this.
She is unforgettable, that's for sure.
So this spot right here is Black Eyes Forge. He's the kind of town smith. There's also wow, that's so fast. I love it so much. This building here, just across from the Storytellers Inn, is Lager, which is it's either Norwegian, Swedish, or Danish. I don't remember which. It's essentially the general store run by Njal. Those would be two places that you could go to, perhaps.
Since Paya and Astrid live across the street from this general store, would we recommend him go to the blacksmith, or would we have suggested he go to the general store for such a sale? Who would we have trusted more? Or maybe not trusted more. Who would we be able to like?
We see him selling stuff.
We know he's selling
Sure,
stuff.
yeah. So I guess so you right, so you know that Njal at the general store has he's always got goods. There's always, especially in the non-winter time, there's always kind of a steady stream of folk coming up from the south, trading and selling and buying and these sorts of things. Black Eye, he does a lot of mostly he's a blacksmith, separate from a weaponsmith. So most of the work that he does is home goods and animal husbandry goods, horseshoes, nails, hooks, hinges, things like that, tools. He does do blades, axes, knives, sea axes, spears. You have heard that he has made a sword here and there. It's not super common, mostly because of the time and quality of steel required to do such a thing as perhaps more than he is either willing, or anyone in town is necessarily always willing to do but he has done them. He'll sometimes do like commissions from the Jarl. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, we need a bunch of fucking spears or something."
You know, we said that these were from the bandits and from the undead, the Dweger. Were any of them of any quality? Or are they the sort of things you'd be better to melt down into horseshoes, or the kind of things that would be worth trying to sell as weapons?
They're so none of these are from these Draugr.
Oh.
Yeah, the specifically so the Draugr that you fought the first time at the farmstead, of course, had weapons. They were very freshly people that you had killed earlier. But the Bog Draugr did not have weapons.
Okay.
Oh
Had I
wow!
thought
they did
about
all
it-
that damage with no weapons.
Yeah, well, they were very cold. So because remember, some of the damage was the blunt force trauma, and then some of the damage was the
Right.
like the cold of the bog.
Well, I'm just waiting
yeah.
for when we get armed Draugr now.
Yeah,
Sounds
you know.
close for the unarmed Draugr.
So all of these weapons and kind of tools that you've acquired for the most part are from these bandits, and they're not. None of them are like. They're not necessarily anything to write home about. They are of a okay, good quality, right? They're well used. The steel is, I would probably say, mostly, decent. Even hard outlaw men keep good care of their tools, right? Obviously some of these axes have been rehandled a number of times, and some of the axes are probably more hatchet like wood axes than say fighting axes in some cases, but I guess to speak objectively about the situation, either would be a decent option.
Okay, I think I'd go to Njal's then.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Who has a high charisma? Like, who do we think is the most likable of us?
That's pretty much Paya followed by Gunder.
Well, one of those should go with the stake for the sale of those weapons, just because.
yeah, I'm not very charismatic, I'll tell you that right now. Stieg isn't.
Yeah.
Because
He's
you,
got-
Andy, are very charismatic.
He's got a little
Well,
persuasion skills, but not much.
So, I take it you come and grab me from the Indigo sell your weapons. Are you looking
Yeah, sure.
for?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hiya.
I mean, you're going across the street.
you know
Do you need
Njal,
help?
right?
They're haggler.
I do know Nwala. Yes, I do know Niall.
Would you want to come with me?
You've got
to
like
try
a
to sell these?
a bucket of weapons. This is the most D&D thing anyone has ever seen in their lives. Just a bucket of used weapons. How much can I get for these?
It's like some of them are bloody.
Right?
I'll be still prestidigitating blood off of them as we walk
Yeah,
in. Just
yeah.
like,
There's like a hand still holding onto one,
Just kick
Like,
it
oh
aside.
God, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that
Oh.
was in there still.
I find a toe in the bucket. Ah,
Good times.
Yes. Yeah, good times. Good times. Yeah, remember when you cut off that guy's toe? I didn't know where it went until now. Yeah, why don't whoever wants to make that roll, Paya, I'm gonna go ahead and guess. Give me a persuasion roll.
Ooh, persuasion. Ooh, you know what? I also have lots of advantages, and I don't get to use them very often, so I'm using them. I'm using one now.
Yeah.
do it.
So that's a
Oh,
16
nice.
and a 9. So the 16 plus 7 is
Oh, nice.
23.
Wow.
23. Yeah, 23.
Yeah. Yeah, let me roll for Nyal to resist. That's not good. He
I'm just
rolled a
watching
7.
Paya smooth talk this guy.
Yeah.
Iron alone is making him drool.
Right. Let's see. Let me see here. So you have roughly a quantity of 10 sea axes and axes, right?
Yeah, do you want me to give you the list?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Give me the list.
1 sword.
Yep.
Actually, 2 swords because I have one from the previous battle.
Oh, nice. Yep.
The first one. 2 long swords. 15 sayax and axes.
Yep. Combo
Interpret
platter.
that. 2 bows. It just said assorted daggers.
Yep. You can never have too
Um,
many knives.
A set of hide armor. And a chain shirt that I pulled off that guy at the first battle, after the first battle. So I don't know if that would have been
A chain hauberk, huh?
I don't know. Looking at the list, I don't know if that's ring mail or chain mail. I assume it's probably ring
You
mail.
would want to look at the
probably a
list,
chain
the
hauberk.
Svilland list.
Yeah, the chain hauberk, which is armor class 16.
Check the tag.
Okay.
And that's not something anybody
Check the
wanted,
tag.
It
right?
says Sven on it.
I have one, so
He put his name on it.
He wrote
Well,
his name on
yeah,
his jacket.
And nobody wanted that chain hauberk?
Oh, I didn't offer it to anybody.
uh,
Actually, I know I
Gundar
did.
has one.
When I first got it, it was like several episodes ago, though.
Okay, then
All right, well,
Oh.
let's
I would probably
let's throw this out to the party then. Does anybody want this chain hauberk?
Bitter, do you want a chain halberd?
I personally
heavy
can't
armor?
wear
It's
something
heavy
like that.
armor? No, I don't want it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I wanted heavy.
22 pounds disadvantage on stealth.
Why you don't want a chain hauberk?
Nope.
You could you could wear it under your biker jacket.
I'm just gonna keep my biker jacket.
All right.
You need a strength of 13 to even wear it.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. And 2 swords. 2 swords.
And part of Paya's
Uh,
persuasion is like she's recently become proficient in martial weapons. She's just taking these things out and showing off their weight and like how they feel, and like this small 42-year-old woman is just making these all of these weapons absolutely seem
Yeah.
kind of spectacular. She's a little bit confused and kind of in awe herself, but none of them beat the battle axe that she first picked up.
Paya, if you would roll 2 percentile rolls for me.
2 percentile. Okay.
Yeah.
Double click
Person
that
would say
one.
percentile with advantage.
71
Yep.
and 41.
Okay. So Nyal, of course, absolutely enthralled by your salesmanship. You drew him in with the story, and then really drove it home. And he's ready to buy some stuff. And he will offer you 125 gold pieces
Whoa.
for this assorted stuff.
Yeah, is that a good deal? Can't tell. How much is that sword?
I have no idea.
It's easier to carry than all those swords.
It is much easier to carry and far easier to spend.
Can one of you roll like an insight to see if that's a good
Yeah.
deal or not?
Yeah.
I'll roll an insight check and see if this is a good deal.
Sure.
I'm gonna use another one of my advantages because I
All
have
right.
so many of them stacked up.
Oh,
Wow.
enough
Well,
means. Wow.
that would be a 22 for insight.
Sure. Yeah, this is a good deal. Um
I mean, I know him well. I'm like, yeah, I know he's not. He won't offer you a bad price for this. I mean, we work across the street. We work with each other. The risk of bad faith would just not be appropriate. I think this is fine.
Okay, let's do it. Let's sell it.
yeah. Yeah, and you do. And he hands over that amount of money.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who's keeping track of the monies?
Well, my intention was just to give everybody their share
Okay.
when we meet up.
Fair enough.
So-
Never mind.
That would be 6 of us, so it's 20 gold apiece.
There's 5 of us.
5 of us. Ah,
I'll take my
I
20.
counted the DM.
There's only 4. One of us doesn't make it to the party.
Hey,
I'm
no,
gonna
br-
spend
no
it on
brown
mine.
nose in
I
the
don't know that,
DM.
Matt.
No brown nose in the DM.
Okay. Okay, so that's 24 gold apiece.
Okay.
Right
So
on.
when we meet up at the inn to go out, I'll go out to dinner together. I'm gonna give everybody 24 gold apiece.
How are we gonna split the tab though?
We'll have to figure that out.
Not
The
six
sixth
ways.
chair goes to Paya again for the inn.
And Pio asks Stieg after that, that necklace that I tossed at you, Wolf's head,
Yeah. Did you
reminds
want
me
it
of the
back?
mothers. May I? Want to ponder it a bit more.
I'll give it back. Simon said it was rare, but he didn't really know much about it. He's seen them before with different animals, but not much. He knows they're rare, but he didn't know what it was. What it
Reminds
meant.
me a bit of a story my mother once told about the mothers, but I don't quite recall that much more about it. And I then go to Astrid and secretly like, Astrid, hold this for me. And I haven't heard 10 of the gold coins.
Okay, I pulled out my hands.
And I eventually go to Gundar and I give him the other 10. And I keep 4 more for myself.
He literally just, you offer it. He's like, why?
Esther is also confused.
Gundar will flat out stop her and ask why first.
Are you dying, Paya? Are you giving away all your worldly possessions? Do you need healing?
I know my history. I can own nothing. I can inherit nothing. I can leave nothing. So please, take this. What I have right now is more than I am worth, and there is risk to me having any more.
Well, I will hold it for you.
Gundar will just flat out go, no. In this place, you are the same as everyone else. You have what you want. If anyone would seek to give you trouble, they will speak to me about it if they get past you.
And then I take it and I give it all then to Astrid. And the
That's
other
fine.
4 gold. And the other 4 gold I give to Absalon.
I will hold it for you, but I will not spend it.
I appreciate that, but it is not good for me to have it on me.
Real quick, before we leave, did we already leave Njal's?
If you don't want to have
If-
left Niles, no.
On the way out, I'm gonna lean over to Nyal and just say, sorry, hold on.
Just as a heads up, Pete Lutenberger gifted the 5 of us another advantage. So write
For
that
the
down.
Power of friendship.
I don't even know how many I have.
Yes.
Is anybody keeping track for me?
Towards the power of friendship. No, you need to keep track of your own, buddy.
Oh my god.
You have 2 from tonight. So you have 2.
All right.
Yeah, Kirk
no.
isn't in this game. He's not here holding your hand.
He's here. Kirk is here, but he hasn't.
Kirk is here in spirit.
Yeah.
And in
Oh
internet.
shit! Here we go. Chad, you have 2 advantages from Kirk.
Yes. I'm going to add more dice to my pile. I have 7 dice in front of me right now. Oh, wait, I used one.
No.
Time to get in
6
some drinking
dice in front of
contests
me.
before we get in some fights.
All right, just
Kill
for the
them
sake of
all, he
brevity,
says.
for the sake of brevity, I'd like to see if Nyal has a diamond, any jewels, diamonds specifically for sale.
All right. Why don't you give me a persuasion roll?
I'm going to use my advantage.
That's a good call. Oh, that's a good start.
All right, +2, that's 19.
Nice. That's better than it would have been if it was Vidar doing it. Yes. He has a diamond. And he has 1 diamond. He has 2 diamonds, and a assortment of other jewels. That he has a nice, of course, velvet bag that they are in, and he plops them out on some velvet, and they're cool.
How much is that nice one?
He looks at you appraisingly, looks at the diamond also appraisingly. I rolled a 12. I don't know what that means. And he let's see. He says this one, and it's a decent sized, perhaps a larger diamond than you are normally used to seeing, is a he says this is around 100 gold pieces, and this
100.
one, which is a bit smaller, he says perhaps 60.
I only have maybe 50. Could
says,
you give me that one
well,
for 50?
Perhaps this emerald, maybe a nice ruby.
It has to be a diamond. I'm sorry. Okay, maybe I'll come back.
He thinks for a minute and he says, "Oh, I mean, you're Simon's apprentice, eh?
Yes, that's me.
Perhaps, perhaps when the time is right, some runes fall my way. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I think I could manage something like that.
Perhaps this is worth 50 after all."
Deal. I will plop the gold down and take the diamond and walk out.
Just, yeah, gone.
Yoink.
He's like, well,
Yee.
yep, I guess that's the deal.
And just like that, a debt is promised.
Yeah, I better write that down.
And just like that, Stig spent all of his money.
That's what happens when you're a party animal in Mulgore.
I guess.
That's right. So the lot of you begin making your way towards Gorms. Vidar, you spend the night in your place at Gorms, and wake, in the morning, and go about the sort of morning rituals that you have, the kind of chores that everybody around the hall kind of has a set of the I do this thing, even and it's really more of a of an every person thing. Yeah, you're a thrall, and they're not, but everybody kind of has a role, does a thing. You know, somebody chops wood, somebody prepares food, and there's all of these things that have to do to keep the hall running,
Right.
and everybody pitches in. And you kind of do these things, and are kind of going about your day, and Gorm pulls you aside, maybe mid morning, and maybe you're chopping wood, let's say, and he kind of comes out and he says, Vidar,
Yes.
I've been thinking about what you said yesterday. And it's true, you have progressed. Wow, you've grown into quite the man.
I have found a way to be useful.
He says, that's all any of us can ask. So, there is going to be a feast here tonight. And you have perhaps the most important task. Feast is nothing without meat. So please, take your gear, take these skis. And he sets a pair of skis kind of into the snow, and
do I recognize the skis?
Give me a, let's call it a perception roll.
17.
17. They you don't recognize them, but they look fresh. They look new. They're I don't know. They're fucking sweet. I would love to describe what skis looked like in a really cool way, and I just can't right now. But they're cool.
I was mostly
really
kind
nice.
of interested if they were Gorm skis or if they were
sure.
freshly,
Yeah.
crafted, which it sounds like
they're
were. So
they're new made.
yeah. Of course. Thank you, Gorm.
He says, this is he says, it's a big day. Make it a big stack. And he claps you on the shoulder, kind of chuckles, and turns and walks off.
Vidar swallows heavily. Okay.
No pressure.
Shit.
Don't fuck this up, kid.
Yeah.
He
He
comes back with
thinks
2 buddies.
he quickly thinks in his mind where he has seen recent sign, where some of the nearby ish hunting grounds are, and tries to formulate a plan based on his knowledge of the region of where to hunt for such a stag
Absolutely.
as is called upon for this apparently very important ceremony that he has no idea what it's for.
I will allow you to roll either survival or knowledge nature. I'm sorry. Survival or nature. Knowledge nature isn't a thing in 5th edition.
I will roll survival, and I will use one of my advantages. 26.
Good thing you did.
Wow. Yeah. No shit.
Yeah.
It's like 6 days later, he comes back with like a little wee little guy.
Did I miss it? Did I miss it? Where is everybody?
I got these rabbits. Yeah, you think back to, and you know these woods and the north as represented here in this sweet map fairly well. And you think back to where the kind of of like the kind of the major sort of herds of some would call them reindeer, some would call them elk, depending on what part of the world you are in IRL, and where you could find, say, and you think back to like, okay, well, I know that this group that kind of moves in this place, their kind of buck was beaten in a mating duel by the one over here in this place, and this herd is kind of out of the area for the winter probably, and you think to your travels over the last like week or so, and where you've seen sign, and the sort of sign that you've seen, and you have a pretty good idea of the sort of area where you could find a or would be most likely to find such a creature, and it's perhaps like it'll take even for one such as yourself, who is of course practiced in the ways of the woods, some time. It's a bit further out, kind of towards the edge. You're certain that it's like towards the edge of the wood, where the wood kind of becomes the sort of like boreal plains, tundra almost, as they kind of make their way, not quite tundra I suppose, but these kind of boreal plains that kind of make their way up into the Morgoroth, would be your best bet. And of course that to make such a trip will require you expert movement and skills that you have learned. Oh, there we go. Now, please enlighten us. For those of you who don't know, the Scotty, which is your subclass of Ranger, has choices to make at their class ability levels.
Yes.
and you are going to be choosing which of your choices.
So yeah, the Scotty are a unique ranger archetype for the Svilland setting,
Yes.
and they are a ranger that really excels in winter extremes, the mountains, the forests, the tundras. They give offering to Scotty, who was a Jotun that is associated with skiing, winter survival, and hunting. So at third level, when I sort of take on this archetype, I have a couple of different options, but essentially it has to do with being native to this cold weather climate. And I gain at third level proficiency with skis, which is really cool. And then resistance to cold and snowy weather while traveling, which is cool. So not necessarily cold damage like in combat scenarios, but in terms of travel. And then he is going to select a feature that allows for his movement to increase by 10 feet. So he's really kind of doubling down on his ability to move through the landscape. And when he's in his favored terrain, which is forest, he can move up to 20 extra feet. So he's going to be fast.
Huge.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Huge.
Yeah.
And eventually I'll formulate some thoughts onto 5th edition rules for skis. Because like, I don't know. I looked through the Frost Maiden book and it has snowshoes and dog sleds, but not skis.
We'll figure
That's
something out.
Well, no one knows how skis work. They're kind of a mystery lost to the ages.
That's true. We'll have to watch the movie The Last King to really find out about how fighting on skis works.
Yes. Because there's going to be lots of it for the rest of this campaign.
Lots of it. All skis, all combat. Just all but. Just like, what's Homer Simpson's neighbor's name? Damn it.
Flanders.
Ned Flanders skiing. Do you remember that?
Just
He's
tucking.
He's got his butt. Anyway.
Not sure I saw that one.
That's probably
I've seen a lot, but I don't remember that one.
Yeah. You
he's going to start tracking this, the stag if he can find sign. And if I'm in a forested sort of habitat type, it is my favored terrain, so I have some bonuses there as well.
Please let us make one of those rolls to which you are bonused.
Okay, so first of all, I'm guessing
it'll be a
survival check, yeah. And this will be to track or to find tracks, I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that's going to be a 22. Nope, that's going to be a 24.
Oh no, only a 24.
That's really good.
Is that good? I don't know.
Yeah. Is that, am I winning? Is that good? Did I break it? God, I need to watch that movie again. You take these skis, and man, do they fit. You have to adjust the binding a wee bit, but they're good. They're good to go.
I would say this too, real quick. I think before he left camp, he would probably make an offering to Scotty for luck and for guidance.
Okay.
He would definitely do something like that.
I like it. Give me a D20 roll, please.
Oh. 15.
Okay, nice. Yes. Yeah, you make your offering, perhaps say a prayer. There's obviously a shrine to Scotty here at Gorm's Hall. And yeah, you take off bolstered, with the the fire of your fellows and the good feeling of your interaction with Scotty. It probably takes you into the early afternoon to kind of get to the port. And you take off, and you have to trek. You have to trek a ways probably before you're in the AO of where you need to go. And then you get out there, and the forest is kind of thinning out here. You're not quite to that kind of boreal plain, which may not even be a real feature. I just made it up because that's what works on my map here. And you are able to kind of spot these kind of trails that these deer leave where they roam across this area, and you very quickly find sign of a large stag, right? Obviously large hoof prints, or whatever deer feet are called. You find rubbings high up on trees, fresh, the freshest of little deer raisins.
Scat.
He'll reach down and sort of squeeze the scat to see how recent it is.
Warm. Not like the warmest, but you squeeze it. It's looking at you like, "What are you doing with my poop?"
Yeah.
No, it's not that
busted.
not that fresh. And you get a direction, and I don't know, man. You track this thing down. It takes some more time. You are, of course, bolstered in your movement with these fresh skis, and you are. I think at this point, you're definitely like in the groove, like kind of the jitters. Maybe I don't want to project onto you, but perhaps the jitters at this point that you might have, that nervousness that you felt before, is a bit gone as you've kind of journeyed further and put in the miles and the sweat, and you're just kind of, you're moving, you're stopping, you're looking, you're checking for sign in those places.
Just the
and
quiet,
you're moving again.
the silence of moving through the forest and just attuning to whether or not there are birds flitting amongst the trees, the freshness of the scat and the tracks, and all of that is just such a centering feature for him. It just brings him in to sort of that zone where he's not thinking about any of the other stuff. The ceremony fades, the request from Gorm to do this, all that sort of fades away, and it's just his immediate, the now that he's in, the moment is all that really matters.
The birds flit, kind of scatter a bit, and there across a bit of a clearing, a bit of a glade, as you were, this good sized stag stands, a challenge to all, as they do, right? Like this is my house. Sniffing about the air. But of course, you rolled really good earlier. We're going to carry that through. You are you kind of happen to be in a advantageous wind position, so as to not be like, oh hey, I'm here, you can smell me, I'm a person. My friend, what do you do?
I will move into a spot where I can view this animal and first take, as I'm knocking an arrow, sort of take stock on its condition. Does it look
Okay.
Does it look healthy? And are there other deer, maybe of a family group, in the immediate vicinity, or is it alone?
Give me a let's go a perception roll. I think we can do this with a perception roll. That works.
Okay. I just rolled a natural 1.
I see that. I do see that.
Hey, I'm gonna use one of my advantages if I can.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll see.
Pete gives us those things for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with it.
Is it 2 plus something?
Oh yeah, there's other stuff that I can add to that. It's a 5.
Hey.
It's like, where did it go? It was just there a second ago.
Yeah, you it's hard to determine maybe from this distance the
single bead of sweat just starts to roll down Vidar's
yeah
temple.
yeah
Oh, shit.
the it's hard to determine maybe the virility of this stag from this distance. There's a few, you're not like directly opposite the glade from this thing, you're back a bit, and there's some branches here and there that kind of obscure a bit of your view. You don't seem to see others. You look about for, like you said, a family group, and you do not seem to see one.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get into a position where I can take the shot.
Okay. Let's I guess, how would you like to do that?
Well, I will stealth into position, and if there is, I will stealth into position. Let's just leave it at that for the moment.
Okay. Let's have a stealth roll.
I'm just gonna preemptively use advantage after those
That's
last
fair.
rolls.
That's a safe bet.
Oh my god. That's gonna be a 16.
Yeah, you I can do this.
This is a big buck that got him a little flustered.
Yeah. Let's see, D&D Beyond. Is there a stag? Nope. It's called the Golden Stag, and I guess I do have that book. Oh no, that's a fucking bar. Nope, it's a deer. Deer?
Look up elk.
Oh, elk. Oh, here we go. Deer. Monster.
Oh no! Shit.
There's a +4.
Have you ever hunted a
to
forest god before?
I'm gonna cast mage armor.
You so you do you stay on your skis? Or are you like
probably not
stealth skiing?
No, I probably would stash the skis and start to move forward stealthily. Yeah.
Okay. You you hop off your skis, and you get yourself ready, and you stalk forward, and uh, you kind of pick a point ahead of time, as you're moving, that you think is probably going to be like a more advantageous position. There's trees are a little closer together here. It's going to be harder for this beast, right, to see your form, if it were to spot you, and you're creeping forward to this position. You can see that this was a great choice, right? You can see that the obstruction to your view is going to be minimal. You'll feasibly have a great shot at it. However, there is a loud squealing, squealing, chittering noise, as is the bane of all who dwell in the northern forests.
Is it a red squirrel?
As you have picked the home of a red squirrel.
Damn it!
And the stag does the stand up, and gets ready to bolt. Please, my friend, let us roll initiative. You
Oh shit.
and the stag
Oh.
and the squirrel.
My money's on
I'm
the
just
squirrel.
kidding. I'm not rolling initiative for the squirrel.
17.
I might be a jerk, but I'm not an asshole.
That goddamn squirrel. I love squirrels.
They're delicious.
You get to jump. Squirrel alerted the stag or not, you get to jump on the stag. You can see that this squirrel has alerted the stag, and he is ready to bolt. What do you do?
I shoot the squirrel. Sorry, Gorm. This is all I got.
It's a squirrel.
I have a line of sight on the stag. I'm gonna take the shot.
Okay.
Jesus. I'm gonna use advantage.
You use a long bow?
I have a longbow, yeah.
Okay.
Is it within range?
What's the short range on a longbow?
Great question. Don't know off the top of my head.
Let me look it up.
Isn't it 150?
I think it's
Probably
120.
150.
150 to 600.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's a big boy. Yeah, you are well within short range of this thing. You are not in an advantageous position, but you are not in a disadvantageous position, as you stand now.
Do I see an advantageous, like if I moved with this sort of burst of speed, could I get into a better spot quickly and take the shot?
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna do that then.
Yeah. You burst forward, with vigor, with newfound speed, silently cursing that damn squirrel, and are able. You kind of almost, in this case, you have to act aggressively, right?
Mm-hmm.
You kind of burst almost into the clearing to be able to take this shot. And please do so with advantage, my friend.
Okay. One request: if I roll natural ones, just drag or kill me right away. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Almost. Almost. That's
Ah.
going to be a 15 to hit.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it turns out deer have a shitty armor class, so
That is true.
Oh, thank God.
yeah.
He was just
15 totally hits it.
He
Yeah.
was not heading back to Gorm's camp at that point.
No.
All right.
To live out in the woods forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I sent him out to get some fucking meat, and he never came back. Please give us a damage roll.
That's going to be a 12 piercing
12
damage.
Yeah, you, as I said, you kind of burst from your spot, a burst of speed through the trees. You've been lining up your shot this whole time, right? You see where you're going, you see where you are, and it's already in your mind as you move. You're running, you draw, and that arrow, it's quiet. Not even that fucking squirrel is chittering. And
Get him later.
there's the you hear the thud as the arrow connects with the deer, and there's like that heartbeat of a second, and then the cry of this beast as its death blow is given, and it's a deer, right? It's a stag, and they're jerks, so it probably takes 25 steps and before it drops. It almost clears the edge of the clearing before it drops. Such is the strength of this beast, and as it drops with a final wheezy cry and a thud, the squirrel just chittering in their like accusatory manner, like, you get out of my lawn, you jerk, like they do.
Killed the squirrel.
Vidar
Make
will
a nice little hat or something.
Vidar will sit silently in his location, allowing for the stag to take its final breaths on its own terms at this point. And he will also reach into a pouch that he has and take out bits of nuts maybe and some dried fruit perhaps, or some sort of food that he carries with him, and he'll set it out on a small little moss-covered rock that's exposed in the snow for the squirrel, and he'll leave it there. And eventually he'll walk to the stag and rest his hand on the warm body and say a short prayer or verse, thanking Scotty for guidance. And he will field dress it as best he can, and transport it back to camp.
Yeah, you do this as you finish your prayer. It's still there a bit, and its wild eye like locks onto you, and you finish your prayer, and it dims, and it breathes its last. You field dress it, and you have very specific packs, most likely for this kind of carriage, for parting meat around, and
Or
you
perhaps a pulk or something.
perhaps a bulk, yeah, which would make it probably be easier. And yeah, you make your way back to the hall. The rest of you you gather at the appointed time. You make your way out to Gorm's Hall, and there are oh, hang on, my wife is calling me. It might be important.
Have her roll initiative.
So as we approach the camp, the sky darkens, and the portals to oblivion are ripped open, chains flying down, and we're now in an Elder Scrolls game. So, I don't know. Do some magic and shit.
Little did you know, we already are.
Yes.
This is all just a Skyrim mod, it turns out. They're really good these days.
That hunt, I'm sweating. I'm sweating from that hunt. Like,
Well, the dice freaking hated you.
yeah, you think? Holy shit.
Like, just a wee bit.
It's making you work
God.
for it.
Yeah, right.
Wow, you have a +9?
When I'm in my favorite
your
terrain.
attack?
Oh, for my attack?
Wow.
Yeah, for my attack I do. But my
20 dex,
my
ranger, favorite
survival,
terrain, yeah.
when my survival, if I'm in my favorite terrain, is +9.
Okay.
It's crazy. I like it.
It likes you. Clearly.
Well, almost not. That squirrel really kind of fucked with me.
Squirrels do that. That's why I'm serious. You should kill that too and bring it back. You should be like, and this is because I hate it. I don't know. Make a stew.
He would probably look at it as kind of like after the fact as like the extra challenge that was put before him and that sort of thing, and the squirrel played its role.
Oh, I know
Story.
that's the good thing to do. That's definitely the better thing to do. I'm just saying, I just want to eat that squirrel now.
Well, actually,
Remember
what we none of us know is that squirrel is actually going to come back at the end of this campaign as the big bad. We just don't know it yet.
Now it's like I'm running the game. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just a familiar, like some greater deity is watching through its eyes.
Perhaps.
Well, I mean, in the Norse mythology, there is Ratatoskr on the world tree that carries news up and down it. So, for all we know, it's that asshole, and news just got up and down the tree. This fucking guy, he's fucking good with a bow. Did you fucking know that? Shit.
Sorry about that, my friends.
No worries.
Things are interesting, to say the least.
Uh-oh.
Not between like me and my wife, but between other
Yep.
things going on. It's fucking stupid, but I don't have to leave you. So
That's good.
that's yeah, right. Anyway, where was I? You've come out
Deer
to
hunting.
Gorm's, and there's some. I guess Gunder's been out here. The other three of you is there a reason that you can think of that you would have been here before? No.
Hmm.
Stieg, would you have been here before?
I mean, I would probably, yeah, I think there was one occasion where the Rangers went out, or Samond and Stieg went out with the Rangers at one point.
Mhm.
Oh wait, that's in
Um,
your backstory, right?
Yeah. But
That's right. I remember
the
now.
group, Stieg wasn't there, but didn't the group go and talk to Gorm at one point?
That was just Vidar and Gunder.
Yeah, Vidar and
Oh,
Gunder went out
okay.
there. Yeah. Okay. So Stieg, you've been out here. Astrid and Paya, you have not been out here. Gorm's Hall
Paya
is
is not happy about being out here at
Sure.
all.
it's a pretty cool place. Personal feelings aside, it's a very nice hall. Carved animal motifs. It's a very warm and inviting hall. As you as you kind of make your approach, you can see that there is a large a bonfire, perhaps a large fire, kind of outside. There are a number of kind of lighted porches on a path almost, and around areas. There is you see that there are some tables that have been set up outside. There is a large kind of cauldron, of mead. You can tell because you can smell it. It smells different than ale. Mead. And there are a small number of folk around. Some of you may know that these are the Rangers. Some of you may just assume that these are the Rangers because this is where you're going, depending on your level of how well you know people, I guess. And they welcome you. You are, of course, greeted by I think as everyone is first greeted by a large, older man with a limp, big guy, limp, gray beard, named Rar, or Brar, just over the Bror.
Mhm.
And he welcomes you as friends and fellows of Vidar, and knows you by name. Was that in the music, or did somebody really just burp? Am I
That
just
was
hearing
definitely
things?
Steeg hiding in the back.
Did you burp into your mic?
No, I didn't.
Well,
Dave's working the sound effects board, I think.
That's hilarious. And he introduces you around.
Paya is real uncomfortable.
Okay.
She is ready
Um,
to bolt, and she's just thinking, any moment now, Amelie is gonna need me. Amelie's gonna need me. I should just go. Amelie's gonna need me.
These are Brar is an inviting fellow. He as he's kind of introducing people around, he presses mugs into your hands, horns, and I don't know, probably offers you some Scotch eggs. I feel like, I don't know why they would have Scotch eggs, but Scotch
She's
eggs
very
sounds great.
specific.
I feel like I want to eat a Scotch egg right now, so that's what they're having.
they are delicious.
Yeah.
Gunder is gonna just move next to Paya and just put a gentle hand on her upper arm, the shoulder, just like the upper arm's like, we are here.
And I hand you that horn, and I make sure that there is no liquor in it. I will not drink in this place.
Gunder shrugs, drains the horn he was handed, inquires if there's juice. If there is, gets that filled, hands it to Paya, and then goes back to his horn.
There's no juice.
There's no juice, but like I'm
These guys don't drink juice.
Anything but anything that is not spiritus. Water, milk, watery milk.
Maybe there's like a pine needle tea.
Actually
High in
sounds
vitamin
lovely.
C. It does. I do love it.
Gets one for gets one for Paya, and then he's double fisting tea and mead.
Yes.
Yeah. Paya really wants to leave.
And yeah, you're introduced around, and you meet the other Rangers, many of which I haven't given names to yet, but I mean they're there and they're cool folk. they're cool folk. Mostly I have to decide how many there really are. And there's a couple of other
number.
yeah however many that is needed in the moment, right? and eventually you are essentially brought kind of before Gorm, the master of this hall, as it were. Oh, good. My wife is safe. That's nice.
That is good.
It is
Good.
It is. That maybe didn't sound as exasperate as good as it could have, but it's. I wasn't entirely worried, because I know my town. And you're brought before kind of Gorm, and he is a a middle-aged sort of Austri man, bristling beard, white hair that is perhaps preternaturally white, early white, right? Preternaturally might be a bad word for that, but early white hair, and he is in, of course, good cheer, given the function, and he says, welcome, friends of Vidar. This is my hall. You are welcome to it.
It is good to have your hospitality again, Gorm.
And he says, I imagine, and he kind of looks up, and he says, Vidar should be along shortly. Please make yourselves at ease. Consider this your fire. And kind of goes about whatever. And
Doing ranger stuff.
Doing ranger stuff. Doing host things. Doing Lord of the Hall stuff. And after maybe you've been here for 15 20 minutes, you've kind of been in, you've meandered a bit, you talked to Gorm, and maybe about an uncannily like 6 minutes after you have that interaction with Gorm, Vidar kind of comes skiing in to the AO, to the clearing. Vidar, you're making your way back, right, with this pulk of stag, fresh from the height of the kill and the work of hauling this large amount of meat through the snow. And even before you kind of get anywhere near the hall, right, you can see it. You see a blaze in the, kind of in the distance through the trees. You can see a number of lesser lights and fires. As you kind of get closer, and these things kind of separate in your vision via distance. And I imagine you keep skiing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of get into the kind of clearing that is the area around the hall, and you can see that there's a large gathering of folk. Not a large, but a gathering of folk around a number of fires. You can see that there are tables set out. There's Brar, tending mead, and people are having a good time, telling stories, and mingling, doing the things that you do in these situations. And as you kind of come in, kind of to eye shot, kind of the folk die down, right? They're dead. The only Draugr are left. No, the sound dies down, and kind of the speaking, kind of the conversations die away, and perhaps you lot, in whatever capacity that you find yourselves, as this kind of happens, the Gorm's folk, kind of stop speaking and one by one, and kind of turn, and you're maybe a little confused at first, like, what's happening? What did I do? And you being at probably at similar functions before, follow the eye lines of these folk, and you can see a figure, kind of ski, a little laboriously, into the firelight, and you see Vidar, in his wilderness kit, on skis. He's got a palk with a big set of antlers sticking out of it, like a big, yeah. And you can see that though he moves with ease, he's clearly been doing this a while, and this is a great weight upon him. And you see Gorm, and he is kind of at the edge of the fire, towards Vidar, and most of you are on kind of on the other side, and he nods. He kind of make eye contact with you, Vidar, across this distance, and nods, and kind of gestures you forward, and then kind of makes one of these motions, and a couple of the other rangers kind of come forward, and kind of unload the beast right from your palk, and Rackle is there, and she claps you on the back as she's like opening the canvas, and is like, oh fuck, this is some serious stag, right? The fucking red fuzz, that on the antlers is strong, and you they and they kind of help you out of the palk straps, the rig, and kind of take the beast away, and Gorm turns to Roar, and Roar hands him a horn, and he holds out this horn to you.
Looking around and feeling all eyes on him, he looks to his friends and looks back at the rest of his ranger companions, and he looks to Gorm and reaches out and takes the horn.
Gorm turns to the crowd, and he says, gathered friends and folk. Welcome to my hall. Many of you have known Vidar for some time. The things that he has done. Who will speak to his deeds this day?
Gundar just immediately kind of just steps forward
Nice.
and just, without hesitation is, Vitor has saved my life on more than one occasion. The first time I met him, lost in the woods, to my embarrassment, he came from nowhere, found me there floundering, and brought me back to safety in the Garth. I owe this man my life. And just kind of raises his horn to Vitor and steps back.
Gorm raises his horn, and the folk around raise their horns. And I don't know, say something cool. A part of me wants to say hell, but a part of me hates that I say that all the time.
It's a trap.
I know, right? It's a trap. And drink. Take a nice sizable drink. And Gorm looks out, looks at Vidar, looks out over the crowd again, and he says, who else will speak for Vidar this day?
Eagle step out.
Yes.
I will speak for Vidar. He has saved my life more than once. He has been very valuable in our most recent combat against the Draugr and these bandits in the north. He is a good man and a good fighter. And he has a magic to him that many people can't see.
There's some nods, around. Horns are raised and drank from again. Gorm says, kind of turns, to everybody, to Vidar, to the crowd. He says, Vidar, you have been a boon to my hall these many years. Yes, you are a thrall in my service, but you are like a son in many ways. You have filled a part of our hall that needed filling. And as your friends and these folk here know, your deeds tell a good story. One the gods would share, perhaps around their fire. And he pulls out, he says, he kind of motions you close, and he kind of gives you the like the big, like he gave you an appraising look before, but like the big, like the meaningful appraising look, like eye to eye. And he looks lost in the fire, perhaps for a second, and then looks back to the crowd and raises his horn, and he says to Vidar. People, yeah, okay, cool. And he drains the whole horn. And I don't know, maybe he has one of those cool like horn belt things.
Totally.
And he pulls out a knife, and he says, by blood are we bonded to each other. in all the ways of men and women and community and folk. And he says, and by that same blood are we freed. And he in one hand, he holds the knife out, and maybe it's like this, and Dave, I want you to think back to your favorite movie when you were a kid, Predator.
Mm-hmm. Still my
And
favorite movie as an adult.
still your favorite movie, yes.
Yeah.
It's a regular childhood movie.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Kids watch these.
And Dave and I know each other very well, and he holds his hand out, very much like that very famous scene in Predator, on one side of the knife.
Vidar puts his hand up to the knife as well.
Yes, you clasp hands, grasp. You clap hands, and the knife bites into both of your hands because it's a dagger. It's a double-edged. That makes more sense. And he looks. You're like, and he says, today, you are your own man. And then he wipes his hand on your face. And he laughs. Make your own way. And he says, he turns to the crowd with a kind of a mischievous smile on his face. And he says, gather friends and folk. This is Vidar. Of Vidar. He is his own man. And that is the way it will stay. And this, my friends, is where we will end our session of tonight's game. Midwinter Keening, thank you.
That was appropriate, little cha.
So much. Vidar, you are a third level ranger. I guess that leaves everyone but Michael and Gunder. I got you though. We'll get it. It's been a slow
Gunder
process,
and I are both patient.
And I appreciate everyone's patience. We will return, of course, to finish the story, or to tell more of it later next week. But before we get to leaving and returning, I believe we have some sort of giveaway, perhaps.
Yeah.
For some sort of excellent music by Ivan Van Dukes.
Yeah.
Van Dukes. Wow, that was weird.
We have been listening to, let's see, what do we have playing right now? This is Freya's Tears. Let me turn it up a little bit.
Did it just end?
Yeah, it just ended. Here we go. So there are 10 tracks in this album. It's really, really good. There's a lot of like kind of up-tempo, really nice tracks for, let's say you're a DM, you want some good combat music. Great. There's some great exploration music. For example, Insight of Ravens is a great kind of melodic exploration-based track. Avenge the Fallen is like this pounding percussion with some like vocal sort of elements and sort of like almost like a sort of a deathly chant. It's really good stuff. If you're interested in winning that, all you need to do is type DRS into the chat and you're entered to win. So we'll just give folks a couple of minutes to do that if they want. And then
Pete, you could run
draw.
to it. Maybe a couple of the tracks. Some of them, like this one, maybe a little weird to run to.
I could think of at least one or two you definitely could, though.
Yeah.
Let's do this. This is Blood on the Wolf's Teeth. Let me turn it up.
Yeah, Blood on the Wolf Teeth. I like
yeah,
this
that's
one.
a good one. Blood on the Wolf's Teeth is really good. We Into the Wild is the one that we use for the kind of the theme song for this campaign. That's my personal favorite. It's got the red-tail hawk, of course. Whenever you put a red-tail hawk sound effect in your track, I'm in.
Instantly makes everything better.
Yeah, I'm totally in. By the way, Dave was getting emotional during that last scene, so that was pretty awesome. Especially when Gundar and Stieg came forward, I was like fighting off a little bit of mistiness. So nice job.
Someone who's
done,
done
my
stuff
friends.
like that before in real life, it is always good and powerful to do, even
Yeah.
in a fiction.
Yeah,
So-
that was pretty intense.
And Vidar's kick ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was good enough that even though Paya is having an anxiety attack on all of this, I was actually having the anxiety attack along with Paya.
Nice.
She is really trying to figure out how to escape, so she really wants to bolt.
But he just freed him, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
Yeah,
more-
yeah, that doesn't necessarily make it better for Paya.
Papa's got her own issues she's working through. It's
Yep.
okay. She will run off as soon as everyone devolves into drinking and celebrating, which I imagine is the next 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like she's sneaking out that door as soon as she might even start with the drum to get things going, and then like runs the minute Pete will hide the fact that she's not there.
This is Chant of Bones, which I have some notes. It's kind of got this like tense, like a building tension up to the crescendo of the song. And
Really
it's
like
kinda got it like a ritualistic kind of vibe going. But yeah, we should go ahead, and it's getting late, so let's go ahead and do this. Ashley, let's go ahead and get a 5-second countdown, please.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Here we go.
Pete Blutenberger,
Peter,
you will get to run away with this music.
you know what? For all of the advantages that you've been handing out, you earned it, buddy.
Yeah, you deserve this
Yeah.
soundtrack.
When's your next 20 miler?
Oh God, the wolves are back. Yep, they sure are. Pete, I will send you a whisper message with the download link. And yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. Appreciate it.
Pete, as long as you listen to this music while you run Grandma's Marathon and live tweet it as it happens,
Wow.
that's a great
Live
challenge.
tweeting and marathon seems like a task.
Does grandmas allow headphones?
Oh
I
yeah.
thought that was like a marathon thing that you're not allowed music while you run.
Oh, really?
Oh God,
I'm gonna
no.
be
Outrageous.
honest.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. If I'm gonna pay money to run, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want.
Yeah, most people are listening to music for sure.
Okay.
Nice. All right. Pete says he's in. He says,
You know what?
To get Twitter just for this.
I think what we should raid. Let's raid Lord Gazumba tonight.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna
Let's
set
get
up the
happy.
raid. Guys and gals and folks of all types, thank you so much for joining us.
My friends, thank you for joining us. There's 11 of you here. Awesome. We're gonna go check out Lord Gazumba. It's gonna be fun. I like that dude.
I'll kick in the ending screen here, but in the meantime, I will be getting the raid ready. So just hang tight, and we're gonna definitely raid. Thanks, guys.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.